Knitworthy, sharing our love of the fiber arts from the heart of the Ozarks. Hello, and welcome to the Knitworthy podcast. That's a gorgeous face, Mom.
I know. It's been one of these mornings again. Trying a new place, hoping we can get lighting better.
Yes.
And, 52 adjustments later.
And 45 minutes. Let us never be said that we do not work at getting this right.
Oh,
we
my
really
word.
do.
And then I start to crochet, and I had a length of yarn that's maybe a yard long.
I was like, that's not attached, right? Mom goes, oh. Well, anyways, welcome to the Knitworthy podcast.
Hello.
This is episode 23. Today is Monday, January 19th, 2015. My name is Brianne, also known as Being Brianne on Ravelry and Instagram, and this is my gorgeous mother.
Hello, I'm Mama Linda, also known as Stony Brook on social media.
Yes.
I always have to look to get the confirmation. Is that who I am?
You are. You're getting so good at this. You remember your name and everything.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay.
So, Mom,
Yes.
what are you wearing?
I am wearing a look I like to call as vintage burglar. I'm in all black except for there is color in this, but you can't tell because of the lighting today.
No.
So this is actually, I think it's night sky, is that what we call it?
I don't know.
I've made this hat. I've worn it in a million podcasts. It'll be in the notes, I'm sure.
I'll
somewhere.
put it in the show notes. Yes.
I want to make more hats because the ones I use, you know how this goes. You have a favorite.
Yes.
And I have of all the hats I've made, I have two that are super favorites. They are both, I think, the night sky pattern, if I'm saying that right.
Okay.
And I think because what I decided I like is a fingering weight hat. So, enough about me. Brianne!
Yes.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing my February lady sweater. This is a sweater that I finished in 2010. So it is 4 years old. I finished it when Evan was just a little tiny itty bitty thing. And so the pictures that I have on Ravelry that I'll link to in the show notes, Mom took those. And that's the one where Evan is asleep on my shoulder.
Yeah,
You remember that one?
I love that.
Yes.
And he still likes to sleep on your shoulder.
He
He's
really
4.
still does. Yeah. So kindergarten is going to be this fall, and I am not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous. We'll see how he does. I'm sure he'll do great, and it's just, my mama nerves that are,
That's it. That's all it is.
But I'm sure he'll do just fine, but I think we might have a little bit of issues the first few weeks while we're getting used to it.
I don't know. I think he's going to love it, but he's going to want to stick to you like glue once he gets home.
That's very, very possible. That is not just possible, that's probable. Well, Mom, do you have any gooseberries for this week? Gooseberries, that's our tasty weekly chit-chat.
Yes. You start.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. I'm not sure what happened here.
Huh. It wasn't recording?
No, it's still recording. It just went away for a minute.
So,
surprise!
It wouldn't be our podcast without a few surprises.
That's right.
Just saying.
That's true.
You know what?
What?
I'm going to make you pause this one more time for 46 adjustments. I have one more idea to try.
Okay.
What do you think? You let us know if you think it's better.
Okay. Bear with.
Bear with.
What do you think? How do we look?
I don't know that it's much better, but
Be honest or not.
we are gorgeous. But are you
yes.
properly lit?
Who knows? So anyways, gooseberries. Do you have any gooseberries for this week?
Well, I do.
Yeah.
So, I have been having fun getting moved into my craft room.
Yes.
Which shall now call my studio.
Oh, you're dressed all in black, so it's very appropriate that it's your studio.
I should have worn my beret. Here, we'll make this more beret-like.
There you go. So jaunty.
I know. So, in the last place we lived, I did not have a studio, used my closet for most things. And then apparently I had more hidden stashes elsewhere. Then I realized when I was packing up, there was actually quite a lot more than was in my closet.
Yes.
And in fact, Isaac was the one who kept saying, "Another craft box?" His favorite statement. He's the one that we go grocery shopping, and when the cart's half full, he's like, "Mom, that is enough." It's not, did we get everything on the list? It's, is the cart too full? So anyway, I had fun doing that and getting more situated in there. And so John pulled out the last of the craft boxes and brought them down for me to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
So now my craft room was already full. Would you not agree?
It was full. Yes.
And I counted the boxes this morning that are left to unpack. 7.
No. Okay, and these are not small boxes.
Well, a couple are. Really? So
are they labeled small on the side?
No.
No.
So here's the thought, and perhaps some of you have hidden stashes that have maybe gotten a little bit, I don't know, out of control. And that I think my biggest problem is that I'm an enthusiastic crafter in so many venues.
Yes.
And so
You have quite the variety of
I do.
crafts.
So once you want to explore a craft and you kind of get set up for it, I mean, that's a box right there.
Yes.
So at least one box. So I think the thing that I decided that this, from here, our next step will, in theory, be quite a lot smaller again. And so if it doesn't fit in this craft room, it's surely this studio, it's not going to fit in the next one. If I even have the luck of having a studio and it's not just a few bins in the garage.
Right.
So, and I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying, let's be real.
True.
So, and also a lot of the closets that we're looking at are smaller closets for 2 people to share.
Yes.
I mean, really, you'd be lucky if you had 6 feet of closet space each. Now, to someone I was watching this thing about a video last night on Netflix about these young men who go to live in, I'm going to forget the name of the country, but they were living on $1 a day.
Oh.
And they were living the life of the indigenous people of that area. Okay? Totally shames anyone from the U.S. who's complaining about only having 6 feet of closet space. Seriously.
Yes.
Because these people are doing amazing things on very little money. And it is a struggle, that kind of a life. So no complaints here. I truly realize how blessed we are.
Yes.
But, I think the thought is that, let's just go ahead, and I was going to leave everything that was not necessary for this time period packed. But I've decided instead, this is a good time to go through and purge even more. Something that was precious to me a month ago when I was busy packing may not be so precious to me now, and I really need to, get life more manageable.
Sure.
I don't need to have everything that I've ever owned.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of you, this is January too. A lot of people have been, trying to get a hold of areas of their life that are maybe less under control.
Yes.
And so I thought, I'm not going to put pressure on myself, but I'm going to unpack those 7 boxes and say, really, is this so precious that I must find room for it in my studio?
Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a video, a little view of the studio as it is right now.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, and I'm going to put it at the end for y'all to see, and I'm also going to video my pile of boxes. Hopefully by next week we'll be closer to having those unpacked. I don't know if I'll get them all unpacked.
Okay. Well, that's a good
It's
plan,
like an accountability thing. Don't feel any pressure, people. But
well, I think that's a good idea.
And it's a gooseberry because I think it's a good move for me to be just reevaluating that area of my life, and I realized, I need to make some changes here.
Sure.
It's okay. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I can quit crafts anytime I want.
Oh, well, don't say that, because that's totally not true. You're just fooling yourself if you think that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because
so anyway,
otherwise we would not have a knitting fiber craft-related podcast if you
That's
could
right.
quit crafts anytime you want.
That's true.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah, but that's my gooseberry because I do feel good about it. I don't feel, like it's horrendous what I've got going on. I don't feel shame over it in any stretch of the imagination. But I do feel like, oh, come on now. As much as I love doing all these things and having the option of doing all these things, it's like, realistically speaking, unless I just want to live with everything in boxes, which I could do, I might decide that it's valuable enough to me that I want to just store it in boxes in the garage and bring it out when I have a project. But then I need to get it organized in such a way that I can do that.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
So it feels good, though.
That is good.
It doesn't feel like pressure. It feels good.
Yeah, that's good. Yay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so...
Do you have a gooseberry?
Oh, do I? My theme for the year is to choose joy. And so I've been trying to be very mindful about doing things that will support that theme.
Okay.
And, part of that is, in parenting. And so we were at Walmart on Friday. We stopped on the way home after we dropped off the kids from school and before we came home. We stopped at Walmart and to pick up things for a party that we were having here at the house.
Oh,
just
yeah.
the little
that
party
was
with
fun.
a friend, yes. And so anyways, Evan, there's those mechanical horses at Walmart.
Where?
As you're leaving.
Oh, is there?
On the market
I
side.
don't have anybody that age anymore, so I'm oblivious
you probably
to
wouldn't
it.
notice. Now, if you're riding it, that would be very interesting. I would like to see that.
Now that I know they're there.
You never know. So, usually we're in such a hurry to get out. And, I'm sorry, honey, I don't have time, or I don't have, the 50 cents, because I pay everything with a debit card. But he asked me so nicely. He said, Mama, please, can I ride the horsey today? And I said, well, let me see if I have some money. And I heard jangling in my purse. And I was like, oh, I think there's money in there. So I looked and I had the 50 cents. And even though we were on a time crunch, and even though it was not, I felt like I didn't have the time for it, we sat there for the 2 minutes and let him ride the mechanical horse. And, he was so thrilled, and people would stop and cheer for him.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, how
They're
fun.
like, oh, get him, cowboy, and they would
Did he have his
clap their
boots
hands.
on?
He had his boots on, and it was just, it was 2 minutes out of my day, but it meant the world to him.
Do they know he wears Woody boots?
Well, he has a pair of Woody boots, like the Woody the character from Toy Story, and then he has another pair of like real cowboy boots that he got from Jared and Danielle. Jared is my brother and Danielle is his fiance, and they bought him a real pair of used cowboy boots.
Was he wearing the real deal then?
Yeah, he was.
Oh my goodness!
So he felt like so amazing, and it was the neatest thing. And you know what, like. It was just 2 minutes, but it made both of us so happy.
I love it.
And, I think I'm just trying to change my outlook, change my perspective, and not rush so much.
So you chose joy for him, but it also brought you joy?
Absolutely.
Was that what you were thinking?
Yeah. It was a small thing. It's not like, I took him to Disneyland.
Yeah.
If you can do that, that's great. We're kind of far away from Disneyland and Disney World, but, it was a 2-minute thing that made him so happy and made me so happy.
That's neat.
So I'm looking out for more opportunities to do that in my life, and no matter what it looks like, sometimes, it means sticking up for myself when normally I would be too timid to do it, or, just there's a lot of ways that I've been choosing to choose joy lately. And so I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that.
Well, I would give you another idea.
Yeah.
That and make sure it's a joyful one, and don't not because you feel pressure to do it because Mom said it. But I remember taking opportunities on the way home from school when you guys were growing up, and we would do homework in a different place.
That's a good idea.
And sometimes we would go to McDonald's, and you'd get to have a little treat there, and then we'd work on homework there. And one year we had annual tickets for the Wild Animal Park in San Diego. And that was my favorite place, so of course.
Yeah, hello.
It was a good year. So we were able to get, and I think family passes were pretty reasonable that year.
Yeah.
And so it was probably about, I would guess, a 20 to 30 minute drive. And I wouldn't tell you where we were going. I just have a snack for you in the car. And a few times I took you there to do your homework.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember it.
I do.
Do you? Yeah. And so what there was this big, like a skywalk area. One of the things we did, I remember, was like a skywalk that went out to this gazebo that overlooked the
elephants?
I don't remember which. It might have just been the part of the park that actually had like an African landscape where there were all sorts of different animals. I don't know that they were segregated in that area.
I don't know.
Because that's the whole premise of San Diego Wild Animal Park, is that it's, instead of being a zoo in the typical sense where the animals are separated, you get to see them more in their natural habitats. And so animals that can get along, they're allowed to roam together. So
cohabitate.
Yes. And I felt like such a good mom that day. But it was not just because I did that for you guys, but it felt so good to me to be there and to say, it's like, it was so refreshing to my spirit.
Yes.
Just do something out of the ordinary. Homework had to be done.
Right.
Right? But you can choose a joyful way to do it.
Yes.
So you could stop at the park.
That's true.
On the way home. Can you imagine how much fun they'd have at a picnic bench if it's a nice day?
Yeah.
And honestly, this weekend,
it's been so nice outside. Yeah.
We had some like 50-degree days out there. You could have, it was beautiful weather.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys come up with a lot of other fun ideas. But don't you think that we could do that not only for our children but for ourselves? Find a fun way to do something that has to be done.
Definitely.
But find a way to add some joy to it.
Yes.
That would be a really fun thread.
That would be fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Ways that you add joy to your day.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. We'll start that.
Should we?
Yes.
I'd love to hear what you guys do, because you know how inspired you get when you hear, oh, that was easy and I could do that.
Yes.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Okay. So, Mom.
Yes.
What are you working on right now?
Many things.
You've been a very busy woman.
I have. So I had, this is just a little granny square. And Dawn from Wolf Farms, and also, I'm going to forget her name, Brianne Bear's podcast. They've been doing granny square things. So I don't know. I thought today I'm going to start a few granny squares. Why not? But I kind of like when they do the centers out of one color and then do a common theme color around the outside. So you have, instead of having all random colors put together, the centers are all different. Excuse me. Centers are different, but the outsides have a common color.
Yes.
And so I thought, hey, I'll try that with some of my scraps that are in these 7 boxes I must have packed. Why not? But
awesome.
I also have all the projects. They're my project bags.
Yes.
But I haven't been working on those.
No.
So I finished a bunch of stuff. So I think you should go on with what you're working on, because I actively have only worked on the things that are actually finished now.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, let me tink back a couple stitches here so I can show you that.
In the meantime, while you're tinking.
Yes.
What do you think about my strange addiction?
Oh my goodness.
We watched.
Not her strange addiction.
The show. It's on, I don't know if it's Netflix.
TLC.
Is it TLC?
TLC has it. I think Netflix used to have it. I don't know if they do anymore.
Okay. Somehow we were able to watch it. And so I'm not going to tell you what the strange addictions are. But let's just say people have some pretty strange addictions.
There were a lot of times, because we watched a couple of episodes in a row.
It's almost like the train wreck you can't turn away from.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I shouldn't be watching, but
There were some addictions, and we're watching them, and Mom and I were both like this. And then we look over at each other like, oh my word.
Can we just share one?
Okay, which one would you like to share?
I think the young lady who tells her mother and sister what her addiction is.
So this young lady, she decides that she's going to tell her mom and her sister about her addiction to eating eyeshadow. Mm-hmm. Okay, not just any eyeshadow, but like metallic, and her favorites are black and brown and gray. But she'll eat any, like they showed her eating like green metallic eyeshadow. But anyways. So
it was quite
she
impressive.
Would like crunch it up,
scrapes it up,
and then like dumps it in her mouth. 15 compacts of these a day. Okay,
what?
15.
Tell them how she finds the one she likes.
She goes to the makeup store. She opens them up. Goes like this.
Licks
no,
them.
I don't like that one. Puts it back.
So you might be buying the eyeshadow from the makeup liquor.
Don't. Oh. Anyways, so she goes to tell her mom and her sister. So they have this family ritual every Saturday.
Sweet.
Yeah, they get together for donuts, and they watch a movie together, and they're sitting around the table, and this is their tradition. They take baby powder and sprinkle it on their donuts.
What?
And now, so she tells them, I eat makeup. And they're like, ew, why are you doing that? And meanwhile, Mom and I are like, why are you putting baby powder on your donuts?
She's like, they're so appalled at her strange addiction while they're sprinkling baby powder on their donut. You eat makeup? What?
And the mom would like dump it in her hand and just lick it out of her hand.
But it was a family tradition, and the show includes visits to the doctor, so he can tell you don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, but I was thinking as some of the ones that we saw on there were just so terribly fun.
But do not try that at home.
But you know what? I thought, on their behalf, speaking on behalf of the people with strange addictions, what if somebody decided that what we do is a strange addiction?
Yes.
Because, really, people, we carry knitting everywhere we go.
It's true. I do.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just hope that no one ever does the My Strange Addiction knitting edition.
Oh.
That would be sad, wouldn't it?
I would cry.
I just want confirmation from all of you out there that you don't think knitting's a strange addiction.
No. You're watching
this hurt
podcast.
Anybody?
You probably don't think that knitting is a strange addiction, and you're watching us.
That's right. Well, see,
these are our people. They understand.
Do you think there's a baking powder eating podcast?
I really hope not.
Not baking powder, baking soda.
No.
Baby powder. I'll be okay. Did you get to think back then? Was that good?
I did, yes. So what I'm working on right now is I'm working on my Fable socks. This is the Drops yarn in the Fable colorway. And I found out how to say our friend's name. Fiber Fiend on Ravelry, who sent us the yarn, you say her name, Osa.
I love that. Osa?
Osa.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yes.
Why don't you have one more baby so we can have an Osa?
We can't do that. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not doing it.
I
love that name.
Yes.
Isn't it beautiful?
So, yes, it is. And so I was definitely saying it wrong.
I'm still hoarding my yarn. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, Osa. I pet it, though. I pet it 3 times this week. I did.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So, here is where I was last week. Hello. These are knitted from the cuff down, and so I was right here, and I finished up the first sock, and I just dropped it. Surprise! Here we go, second sock. So here's my cuff, and I'm working my way down, and I just found a knot in my yarn, so I'm gonna have to, I broke that. Don't you hate that when it happens? When you find a knot in your skein?
No, now that I know how to do the Russian join, I just Russian joined it. I don't care.
Well, now you're just showing off. She's like, it's no big deal.
It isn't. Yeah. It's wonderful. It's a chance to practice a new skill.
That's right. The other thing that I've been working on, oh, don't fall. I have been working on my sockhead hat, and I did make some good progress on that this week.
Is that for me? Because I'm going to be so happy if it is.
It's not for you. I'm sorry. You know, I have no knitted hats, and so I'm remedying this by working on making a hat for myself. So here we go. I put on about 2 inches on this week. This is the sockhead hat, which it's a fingering weight yarn hat. And I'm in the stockinette section, so I just have to knit a million more inches, and then I'll be done. And I can do decreases. So, but I'm really loving working on this. It's a great purse project just for when I'm in the car line at school, or and it's so squishy and wonderful and makes me happy to look at and feel, and I think it's going to be a great addition to my winter wardrobe.
I agree.
One more thing.
The only difference I wanted to point out between that hat and the one that
you're wearing?
I'm wearing is this one requires about this much ribbing, whereas the sockhead hat requires how much ribbing at the beginning?
4 inches.
4 inches. So
that's not ribbing, though.
What is this one?
That's garter.
Oh, this is garter. Hey, if you're not a ribbing person, then do this one. This one also has stockinette interrupted with bands of a pattern.
Yes.
And so it gives you a little bit of a break up to the massive amount of stockinette area. So sockhead hat just becomes a bit of a slog for some people who don't like ribbing so much.
I find that if I am listening to a podcast or watching a podcast, if I'm, or listening to a book, that it's not that bad. Now, if I were just sitting down, I didn't have anything else to entertain me, it would be rather difficult.
So you just have a distraction going and then you get through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once it gets to the stockinette part, usually I'm thrilled because that's totally mindless. I don't have to think about that at all.
Yeah. The last thing that I've been working on are my Ms. Wick socks, which look like this. Hello, beautiful. I have made a ton of progress on this week. This is a toe-up sock. And do you see my little stitch marker there? That's where I was a week and a half ago. So I knit all of this. And last night I cast on the second sock and literally knitted like 2 rows before bed. So I'm not going to show you that because it's not worth getting out of the bag. But this is turning out so beautiful. And it's
very pretty.
Let me show you again up close. I am really loving the cables, and just it seems to really go by really fast for me now because because I love the patterning, and I don't mind it at all. I love it. It's distracting enough. I've memorized the repeats of everything, so and the cable chart, so it doesn't bother me at all. But it's really it's a fun, distracting pattern.
Is it?
Yeah, and so I've had a lot of fun working on this, and I'm excited to be able to wear them. They fit great. So yeah.
My issue with cables just really has more to do with the fact that at times I lose track of where I am.
And that's where I have to have a row counter.
So you're using row counter
I am using a row counter.
And what type of row counter are you using?
Well, I have the one on my Knit Companion that is just on the side of it that I can use. Okay. Or I have an app on my phone that I also use, and let me see what that is.
There's also row counters that are on the needle, right?
Yes, you can do those kind. I've done those kind as well. This is just called Knit Counter. It's the one in the bottom middle. It looks like that, and I believe it was free. And it just looks like this.
That's handy.
Yeah, when you open it up, so you can add a row or frog a row. You can have more than one counter going. So like on my Mendocino shawl, I use this for my counter, and it worked out really, really well because I was able to count how many repeats of the chart that I had done, as well as what row in the chart I was in.
Oh, that's good.
So that's an alternative.
Are you able to label what you're counting? So
yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, you are.
Because sometimes those combinations of increases while you're also doing this, you can lose track of where you are easily. So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So that's it. I didn't finish anything this week, but I see a nice pile of things that you have.
Yes. So as I'm getting my studio more organized, I'm looking at a lot of my hand spun.
Yes.
And when you're learning new techniques and experimenting with putting different things together and what does this do, and I have so many of my skeins that I was practicing techniques on, and a lot of them with just beautiful Angora and different fibers I was trying, just all different kinds of experimentations that you do as you're perfecting your, well, I can't say perfecting your craft, it's because you're never perfect.
No.
But as you're gaining
skill,
your skill set, you're adding to your skill set. I am so totally not able to describe what I'm talking about today. Let's try it again. So anyway, yes. I saw all these yarns and I thought, you only have, so maybe you have 50 or 60 yards of something. It's difficult to find, what am I going to do with just a little bit of these really fun art types of yarns and other ones that were just fun colors put together and things. So I decided that I was going to start making some scarves that I'm going to be sending to Miss Peggy, who is from the 100th Sheet.
Yes.
And she does a lot of the fairs. And I thought, well, let's just see how people respond to being able to purchase their favorite art yarn done up in already made into a scarf.
That's a great idea.
And I'm a big fan of these infinity scarves. Because I love that, first of all, they don't fall off your neck because it's a loop. And most of them you can do either singly or you can double them up if you want more warmth. But I also thought a lot of times it's maybe not warm enough for a really bulky scarf. And so I thought I really would love to do one on the big needles that I got. And I think that was an earlier podcast where I had purchased a few of the larger needles for using with broomstick lace and different things like that.
Right.
So I've been doing these I should come up with some fun name for them, but for lack of a better word, it's like a sampler scarf.
Okay.
And it's like the best of my samples. Okay, so here was the first one I did. I had all of these left over from one Christmas when I had done hand spun in alpaca and Angora. This is from my bunnies right here. Just the halo on that's incredible. And this is hand spun alpaca from Whirlwind Ranch, my friend Liz. And I wanted that whole sampler feel in the sense of every last inch is used. And so I just let it transition when it wanted to transition. And then, so this was I'm going to forget the names of all of these yarns, but this has bits of mohair coming out of it and little tails, little pigtails coming out of it. Let's see. And then when I joined them, I went ahead and added nice long
fringe.
Thank you.
Words, you're welcome.
Words are your friend. Added fringe to it. And I know it's a funny spot to add fringe, but it looks so lovely when you actually put it on. I should probably just put it on.
I think you should.
Let's see if I can do this on camera without embarrassing myself.
You can do it.
All right. Okay. And so what I loved, I wanted this one longer and this one shorter. And it just adds such a wonderful detail. Now, you know me. I
do know you. It's my mom.
She's so smart. I'm not going to try and get it perfect because that's not the point of these. I love having like a little flower on my scarf or whatever, a little accent. And this to me is what this little fringy part adds, is a fun accent.
Yes.
On the side. And look at, I mean, just little, whatever you want to have peeking out is peeking out at you. And because these are done on the large needles, I use size 17 needles.
Oh my.
And I'll tell you how I decided what size needle to use.
Tell me.
She keeps bugging me wanting to know.
Well, you asked.
Okay, so you're using, these are like all different sizes of yarns. These all don't match. Some are bigger, some are smaller. And so what I did was I used the needle that looked nicest on the thickest yarn that I had. Okay? And so that was how I judged it. So the yarns that are thinner are quite lacy looking. You see how you can even just see through them.
Sure.
But I don't know if you can tell how much wonderful drape this has. I mean, it is just, it's hard to tell someone what drape feels like, but it is so soft and smooshy.
Yes. You just want to pinch his cheeks.
Look at this. Yeah. And so that is what I was loving about it. So all the little bits of wonderful gourmet stash that I have, little leftover pieces I couldn't bear to throw away, things that I spun up as a sample because I wanted to see if I enjoyed spinning it, techniques I wanted to try. That's what I've been doing. So now the quicker run through. I actually spun up this particular skein. And this was
beautiful.
Isn't it lovely? And it's a colorway from Peggy, and I don't know that it had a name. It might have been just some leftover dye that she had, but she does leftovers in the best way. They're not leftovers at all when she's done with them. But it's beautiful blues and greens, and let's see if the best way to show you, I spun it very long thins and very long thicks. And so maybe you can see here, look there's the thicker sections and then the thinner sections. So, you know, we traditionally see a thick and thin yarn where they're done quite close together. But I wanted to see the effect of doing it so that it creates a longer slub. And it is gorgeous. The color's a little bit washed out here. It is quite rich and beautiful. And so when I got to the end, I had just a few yards. I think I had maybe 40 yards of this coil that I had done. And so I ended it with this beautiful coil. I mean, really, what would you do with that much yarn? That's not a lot, right?
No.
But as part of this, it's gorgeous, and it does the same thing that that the fringe did on the other one, of giving you a little accent spot. And if you don't, you know, if that's not your favorite that day, then you can turn it around to the back, or you can put it, you know, center or whatever.
It gives you options.
But it's a way to really enjoy a specialty yarn. I would never make a whole scarf worth of this yarn, because I think I was about 4 hours making this much yarn.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I'm sure other people can make it much faster.
Yeah.
You know, once you get into the swing of doing coils, but it takes, a coiled yarn has a center ply as a staple, and then you have, I don't know how many times as much yarn that's spun super tight and actually is coiling around it, like the old-fashioned telephone cords, you know? So, I mean, it is like, instead of a ply where it's just gracefully meeting one another, it is like one is, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's very articulate.
Like Tasmanian devil, where they're spinning out of control.
Spinning out of control. Here's some skeins that I had done up.
Oh,
that have mohair bits in them. And this is a lovely yellow. Colors are getting washed out again, but this one is just lovely and lacy, and it's wool and mohair. But as a scarf, I think, you know, I should wear black all the time, because then I could just wear scarves.
You should.
Have my bank robber look, my vintage robber burglar look. And then I also spun. I did a lot of spinning.
You did do a lot of spinning.
Yeah, I spun up all of this beautiful maple yarn.
Yes.
I think it's, what did I tell you it was called? I forget it.
Maple.
Is it just called Maple?
Yeah.
Okay. This is also from Peggy from the 100th Sheep. It was a gift, and I'm telling you, she spoils me. She was trying to cheer me up when I was like in the middle of move and like, I don't think I could do this. This one also, I did the thick and the thin. So those are not mistakes, people. That's all on purpose. I love going from the thin to the thick, and I was trying to get it very random so that they would just pop up here and there. And so you just get whatever the thicker part is, it really stands out more. And I just love the effect.
It's beautiful.
And once again on the size 17 needle, so you can see through it. Mm-hmm. It's very much like a lace scarf, but it's done in worsted. It's not heavy or cumbersome. I could definitely wear this around the house and not feel too hot. But I could also bundle it up around my neck and be warm. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that there will be a group of people that come to some of these shows that enjoy having, not having to make the piece themselves, but enjoy having some art yarn that they can wear around their neck.
Yeah.
Though I have also heard people just wear the art yarn around their neck at these things.
Yeah. There you go.
Have you heard of that?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been brave enough to do that. I get people treating me weird about wearing hats. Why? They're like, when I wore my beret, I had the same gentleman, both times he saw me in my beret, go, oui, you're from France. Go, yeah, I'm from France.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I didn't care, actually. He could say whatever he wants.
Although, isn't there a Paris, California?
There is.
See?
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Very close. Well, I have some spinning.
What?
I know.
Bear with. I'll be right back.
Okay. Actually, it's more like plying. But I figured out how to get the bobbin off my wheel, so yay! So I could show you guys. Oops, don't fall. I could show you the plying that I did. It is not beautiful. It is not a perfect yarn, but guess what? It's mine. And to segue into Are You Kidding Me? I just had some leftover yarn that I had spun up, but then didn't have enough of the other yarn to ply with, so I went from a 2-ply to an N-ply, a 3-ply Navajo style.
Or chain plying.
Chain plying, yes. And 2-plying felt really natural to me. 3-plying was a big fat mess. And so there were several times where I was like, what's going on here? And like Evan was trying to be helpful because he heard me in distress. He heard me,
yes,
me feeling frustrated, and like apparently drew him like a moth to the flame. And so unfortunately I was the flame and he was the moth. And I was like, Mommy's working right now, and I need for you to go in the other room. Thanks.
He probably wanted to spin the wheel for you, right?
Yes. He was like, Mom, let me hold it. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. But I have, it's not perfect. You can see some areas here where, it's just not good. But you know what?
I love it.
It's my first yarn, and I'm proud of it.
You have some great areas, though, too. Show them some of your great areas right there.
Okay, so Mom wants me to show you this right here.
See? Look at that. Looks good.
Yeah, and
right.
Yeah, so and look at that part right there. The blue.
Beautiful.
Right there. On the edge. The blue. I don't know if you can see it, but that apparently passes muster.
I mean, very, very, I don't know of anybody who first time through gets something amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there may be some spinning savants, I think you coined it last time.
Which we discovered I am not.
But that's okay. You've got some spots in there that are beautiful. And actually, if you knit that up into a square or something, you would be quite pleased, I bet.
Well, what I need now is I need your help getting it from the bobbin into a skein.
Sure.
And get it all washed. And that way I can actually do something with it because I do want to knit with it.
You should.
Mm-hmm. I do
agree.
want to see what it feels like to knit with my own yarn. I showed it to Brian, and he goes, "Oh, is that yarn?" I'm like, "Yes,
Is that yarn?
It is yarn, and I made it." So, anyways, Mom, did you gild the lily at all this week?
Well, I have some things to share that are over the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
But I wasn't organized enough the last few times to actually have them. So bear with. I'm going to join this.
How about I show my thing?
Okay, why don't we do that? And then I'll get to a stuffing place.
I have one thing that came in the mail, which I think I told you about last time, which is my 1 pound of BFL wool. And this is from, I'm going to forget her store name.
Is a sticker on there that says it?
It doesn't say. It's Flying Sheep Pink, I think, on Etsy, but I'll link to it in the show notes, as I do with everything that we talk about.
Would it be Flying Sheep Pink or Flying Pink Sheep?
No, it's Sheep Pink.
Okay.
Yes, I remember because it has the 2 P's right in a row.
Okay.
But I'll link to it in the show notes, and it's a beautiful BFL, which I think is going to be very fun to practice on. And really, this is just my practicing to get my drafting right and to get used to handling the wool. And I think part of what I need to do is I'm a little bit afraid to kind of really tear into the wool and get it drafted the way that I want to. I'm a little bit intimidated by that. And so I think I need to get over my fear of doing that. So this is going to be part of that process. You can't really see it because it's all... There you go. That's better. But it's just an undyed BFL wool. 1 pound of it. Lots of practicing.
Great idea. And I think the thing for people to know that maybe haven't done as much or haven't done any spinning or haven't done as much spinning is that the fibers have to be loose when you're spinning.
Yes.
They have to be not connected to one another in any way. So like if they're slightly compacted or a little bit felted or just sometimes even just turning the roving the other direction, they'll flow better. What you want is your fibers to really slide nicely. And so I'm trying to think of an analogy, but I can't come up with one off the top of my head. But it's kind of the difference between if you are combing through hair that is been brushed already. You can run a comb through it, doesn't get stuck at all. But like freshly washed hair or whatever, if you try and slide a comb through it, you're going to come across places where it's tangled. And so you want your fiber to be like that hair that's been brushed through already with no tangles, because when you're spinning, every tangle slows you down.
Yes.
And so that's kind of where sometimes sometimes fiber will need to be pre-drafted a little bit. It'll need to be pulled apart or just nudged a little bit apart so that it can flow nicer. So I would say there are not too many. I mean, there are a lot of really great dyers out there where you can just take their fiber out of the package and start spinning. There are a lot of good dyers out there where you can do that, but sometimes there are situations that happen in a dyeing process where a little bit will become less willing to nudge.
Yeah.
Or slide, whatever.
Well, and you know, the only way that you know that you get that experience is by actually spinning.
That's it.
You know, that's how you learn. And so yeah.
And the more spinning you do, the less troublesome those things will be to you.
Yes.
It may require a little extra effort, but it's not a bother. And so I think you're wise to have fiber that you are not worried about, that you can just spin and feel free to try different things out. And that's where just a lot of people will buy already dyed fiber and they feel that way about it. But if you don't feel that way about your dyed fiber, then might as well get something you do feel that way about.
Yeah.
And I think you did gild the lily a little bit, didn't you?
I did, but it hasn't arrived. It won't come until tomorrow.
Okay.
So that'll be for next time. But y'all, I didn't just gild the lily. Like, I dipped it in gold. Like, it not just like a little bit of gilding, but I had some Christmas money that I spent.
She may have fallen into the rabbit hole of spinning.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. So my fun things.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, my first fun thing came from Turtle Jen. Turtle Maid. Oh, I'm going to forget. Is it Designs? She's on Etsy as Turtle Maid. She has, I'm so jealous. Do you know what she has?
What?
Is it called a 3D printer?
Yes.
3D printer. And she makes, and I saw she makes different ones too. I have her beautiful Turkish. That's what it's called, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying yes. Do you really know?
No.
Okay. She does drop spindles also. And what is wonderful about this type of spindle, let me get a little closer. Well. First of all, it comes all apart like this, so it's so easy to stash.
Yeah.
I mean, I could almost put this in my pocket. Might stab myself if I sat on it, but this material, I'm going to show you her. Look at, she's done her name on the bottom even. How cool is that? This material is some sort of, I should have really found out what the material was. It's very lightweight.
Yes.
Okay. She makes in all different colors. She asked me what color I wanted.
Yeah.
And I wanted red. And this, I didn't review it at first when I got it because I wanted a chance to really use it for a long time. Make sure I really loved it for you. I loved it. I do have wooden spindles like this, and they are probably my preferred method of spindling. I do like a support spindle, but I would say that this is much faster. And what you end up with at the end is a center pull ball of yarn if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can use it as a plying ball. And so I love that about this style of spindle. But this particular spindle weighs 1.1 ounce. And I tell you, you could spin thin on this thing.
Is that because it's so light that you can spin so thin?
I'm sure someone knows that answer.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't remember the correlation. Honestly, I studied up on it at one point, but those things just don't stick in my head. So all I know is, I mean, I spun thick on it too, but you could get a really nice thin spin on this. 1.1 ounce, I don't think is weight-wise. I don't know if she offers other weights, but I was able to do a variety of different spins on this very easily. So I would, in fact, this thing has a very smooth spin that does not wobble very much at all, which means it's well balanced. And it was surprisingly easy to spin on.
Well, good.
Okay, I wasn't so sure because I had never spun with anything other than wood.
Mm-hmm.
And this really just did a beautiful job. She has this little indent up here at the top, which made it great for putting your half hitch knot there, so that when you drop it, it has the spot to spin from. So that worked very well. And so I might have done a little bit of spinning. I had made some Rolags a long time ago that I loved, and I was saving them, but I decided this was what I was going to use them for.
That's pretty.
And so, would you just hold this free?
I would love to.
I spun this beautiful yarn. Now it's a little bit rumpled because I've had it up in a ball for a while, but what it was it had silk in it, it has Angelina, it's got wool, no alpaca, just wool, and I'm trying to remember how many I had. I don't remember how many. Doesn't matter. But I spun all this up on there, and I'm telling you, I did it as a 2-ply, and I mean, I think it's gorgeous.
That's really
the way
pretty.
it's spun. I was able to spin very consistently. I spun sitting down. I spun standing up. I was a wild man. I walked around and spun.
You're all over the place. Just cooking and spinning.
And these are super reasonably priced. I'm not going to quote a price because I'm not good with numbers and remembering them accurately, so I don't want to give her a sale and she doesn't know about it. But check out Turtle Maid.
Yes.
And And she's also in our group, so you can also talk to her there if you want. They're really the straight scoop on these things. But I'm telling you, this is a lovely spin. And you know, I think if I was for sure, a beginning spindler, I would start with this.
Would you?
I would. I think these are probably some of the easiest, besides support spindling, where you have nothing to suspend in the air. I think this would be my choice.
That's wonderful.
Is I just, honestly, to spindle spin this much yarn for me, I know some people do the sweater, a whole sweater's worth.
Can't imagine.
But spindle spinning this much for me tells you how much I loved it, because I should have counted how many yards I've got, like 75 yards of spindle spun. Hello.
Yeah.
That's amazing for me.
That
and
is.
the only reason why I stopped was because I ran out of the Rolex.
Oh.
I would have kept going because it was that enjoyable.
Well, there you go.
So, you know, I think what makes a tool enjoyable is when it's a successful experience for you.
Definitely.
You can have a cute tool, but cute, who doesn't love red? Come on now. I know some people, but they should all love red. I mean, the red's the fun part, and you say this is a lovely tool to look at, but it's not about the looking at. A tool is for using.
Yes. And I do know that you can special order from her, and she'll do a custom order with different themes. And so, like,
how fun.
Someone was like a Batman themed one where it was like black and yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, how fun.
Or was it Robin? Anyways, but they're doing all kinds of themed ones.
Well, last thing I heard, these things are flying off the shelves like hotcakes.
Yeah.
And because they are so reasonably priced, and I mean, the perfect thing, honestly, you get yourself a little bag, or even throw this in I was thinking even in my purse. And because you can take it apart, you know, you could stash this in the zipper pocket of your purse.
Yeah.
With a little bit of fiber, and you could spin anywhere.
True.
You would never be without a project. Just
There you
saying.
go.
So I have used this puppy like crazy. I love it. And I'm afraid to look at the rest because I really shouldn't purchase anymore, but I highly suggest you all go look. Yeah, I will be, because I just saw it popped up on Etsy again that she had some drop spindles with some different patterns on them. I'm like, I'm wondering if this is the same stuff they're making the extra bobbins out of now. Have you seen
I think so.
The bobbins that come apart?
Not Acreworks. Is it Acreworks?
I don't know, but they're really cute. And so I think it might be the same material. So if you have a bobbin that has the same material, you'll know what this is made out of. But I don't know. It's so fun. I want to get a 3D printer now.
Oh, goodness. That's a whole other box in your craft room. I just gotta say.
Oh, no. But you know what? Here's a sales point that I bet you never thought of.
Yeah.
Isaac told me last night that 3D printers they can 3D print an organ in your body now. Like,
yeah. Well, they can.
How does that make sense?
They can do like valves and stuff like that. I've heard of that. I may have seen that on Grey's Anatomy, which is totally medically true, as we all know.
Yeah.
What else do you have that you've been
a spoiled
having
rotten,
fun with?
Another spoiled rotten item. Okay. I showed this to you guys a while back.
Yes.
This lovely,
beautiful crochet hook.
Ebony crochet hook by Unraveled You on Etsy. And, you know, I just purchased it and loved it.
Yes.
It's the ones that are made more ergonomically, and so your fingers don't pinch down as far, and so you get less hand cramping and that kind of thing. I'm going to show you the head of it there. This was a size J, and they were so sweet. I was shocked because they watched us.
Oh my goodness.
And so they were so...
People watch us?
What? And they were so sweet. They offered to make me one as a thank you for loving their stuff. I'm like, okay. Cool. How does I don't lose in this thing. I get to use them and I get a free one. And I was so shocked. I told them what size I wanted, but I let them choose for me. And this is,
that's beautiful.
I'm going to forget the name of the wood. Purple Heart or bloodwood. It's a beautiful wood, and you'll recognize it when you go to their website. This is a bit smaller, and I'm already forgetting what it is. Is it I or an H? Isn't that lovely when I don't know?
Did they put your name in it? Oh my word.
They do laser engraving if you want it to.
How cool is that?
And
oh,
I am blessed. They blessed me with it.
I love that.
And I'm telling you, I'm looking even for projects to use these on. What yarn can I use that will need this hook? I may have already requested another one.
And by may have, she says, I already did.
They feel so fabulous. And I just love them. And I don't do this, I don't do the pencil hold, but I would think they would still work with pencil hold.
Sure.
I do the knife hold. There is a little bit of an adjustment if you're not used to having any shape in your hook. A little bit of adjustment to getting used to the hold of it, but not in a bad way. It's just kind of like, well, where am I going to put my fingers, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And the key is with any tool, you just don't want to give it a death grip. But I love, love, love my hooks,
mm-hmm.
and they are so affordable, especially compared to some higher priced ones that I will not even mention their name, because why would you buy higher priced when you can get it from Unraveled You?
Mm-hmm.
Love it. So
wonderful.
I did do crocheting this week just so I could use my hook.
How fun.
I know.
Such
and
fun.
I may have ordered an Itty Knotty. Well, I have a big old Ferris wheel one that's like this big around here, like this big around. And it's on a stand, and it's got two sides, and I use that a lot when I'm doing like bulk spending projects, that kind of thing. But when I'm doing small things like the spindle spun or a test skein or whatever, I want a smaller one. So he's going to make me a smaller, like a foot long one.
How cute.
Yeah, I think it'll be much better when I'm going to a class. It'll be easier to take with me.
Mm-hmm.
And also when I'm doing smaller skeins like this, I wrapped around a muffin tin.
That's a good idea.
Just not
That'll work.
It did work, but I think it'd be much easier to have an Itty Knotty.
Yeah.
So anyway, I loved all my treasures this week and weeks before. I've been giving them my wholehearted seal of approval. This, love. This, love.
We love all the things.
Turtle Made and Unraveled You.
Yes. Wonderful. Yeah. Excellent.
So I also got something else.
What did you get? What did you get?
It's also It's a Good Thing. What's it called? Do we have it just It's a Good Thing?
Yeah, It's a Good Thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So those of you who have been with us a while know that we didn't have television for a while.
Yes, it's true.
And so when we got to this house, getting internet, it was cheaper to get it bundled with cable TV than it was to buy it separately. What? I don't get it. Because I wasn't going to do the cable. So now we have cable TV, and actually we got a television. We didn't have one. And the first thing hubby sees the first night he's sitting down to watch television is this.
What is that called?
Called The Personal Petty by Laurent.
Ooh.
I'm sure it's not French, but I may have a reputation for having the worst feet on the planet.
She may or may not have, on several occasions, worn holes into her sheets.
Like 3 or 4 different occasions.
And I may or may not have inherited these feet from my mother.
So, of course, hubby sees this on television. Basically, it's like a sanding disc. I'm trying to see how I can get it so that it shows. Huh?
How does this work?
Sanding disc here. And it's got batteries. And you sand your feet away like a Dremel tool. And it works beautifully.
Yeah, I used it last night.
So yeah, he got one for Brianne and for me. Heather, we didn't get one for you.
No, because you have beautiful princess feet.
Heather got feet like her dad. beautiful
Yes.
princess feet. But yes. So, you know, as much I have used other things. I would say that the microplane version of foot sanding is a little harsher on your feet. This is a more gentle thing. I think it's a pretty cool tool. I would not have purchased it.
No, I probably wouldn't have either.
But Dad, you know, he's got to live with me. So whatever it takes to keep the man happy.
So I used that, and then I did. I have the Lolo bar,
Lolo bar.
The
Yes.
barmaids. They're Oh for Feet's Sake. If you have not tried this before and you have feet issues, you need to, because it is awesome. So I did. Their prescription is you do a you use like it's like a 2%.
Salicylic acid.
Thank you.
I knew a word.
Yeah, you did. Man, you're good. Like the acne wipe, the kind of things, you know, that you use if you have acne, like the acne pads.
Yeah.
And you do that on your feet, and then you do their Oh for Feet's Sake on top of it, and it's really good if you wear wool socks. And my feet look amazing this morning.
And you did this too?
I did that last night.
Oh, wow.
Then did the salicylic acid. Then which did not hurt. And then did the Oh for Feet's Sake on top of that.
Now, the only cautionary tale with these is, you know, you have to use wisdom also. If you've got sores on your feet, or you've got some sort of a, like diabetes, where your feet don't heal well, you know, please don't use a motorized sanding tool on your foot. And, you know, most normal people, I would guess, although they have sold quite a lot of these, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot of normal people like us who have really lousy feet. But, you know, I'm not going to say bad things about my feet. I take it back. I choose joy. My feet work.
Choose joy, yes.
They hardly ever hurt me. They work well. They get me here and there to yarn stores and back. So thank you, Lord, for feet.
Yes.
But these make them actually feel better because, you know, if you get too much of a buildup of things that shouldn't be on your feet, that they can get painful.
Yes.
So, yay! Thank you, honey.
Oh,
That's my commercial for
there you go.
the personal petty.
Yes. And I'm just in love with cables this week. I've been working on them so much. I'm in love with cables.
You're in love with cables.
I'm trying to figure out what next project I can do that involves cables.
Are you doing cable, wait, what do they call it? Where you don't use a cable needle?
No, I am using a cable needle just because the stitches are so small.
Are you using Will Farms needle?
No, I don't have one.
How did I get me one and not one for you?
I don't know.
Did we give one away?
Not yet. It's
Yeah,
coming
we
up
did
though.
Oh, let's have that be our prize for our next contest.
Let's talk about our along.
Oh, our along.
Yes.
What? Okay, you know, I've been so bad. I apologize to all of you. I have been, I know, minor. I have had a bit of a transitional time in my mental well-being and trying to kind of get into this new life we're in here. So some days are better than others, and I have just been so scattered that I have like opted out of social media without even realizing I was opting out of it. And I realized, you know, it's been probably weeks since I went into the group. So I'm not ignoring you. Apparently I'm ignoring everyone. Because I'm also
bad. It's not
I'm not
you.
on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on anything. I've just been sitting here making scarves and like lost in my own world. And finally I realized maybe I should really check things out and see what people are doing. So
There are other people
you're
in
not
this
being,
world.
this is nothing about you. It's just like I've kind of lost my, I don't know.
She lost her mojo for a while.
My mojo. And so my patterns of doing things are all out of whack, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm waking, I think I told you before, I'm waking up really late sometimes, and sometimes I'm up a little bit earlier, like, you know, well, I'm not even going to say how early it is, but anyway. So it's nothing about you, it's me. It's not you, it's me.
So let's talk about our along.
Tell me all about it.
Okay.
What do people want to do?
People want for you and I to pick which kinds of things we do.
All right.
And it's kind of split interestingly. 2/3 of the people would like for us to pick, 2/3 of the people would like to do like, one time we're going to do something like in a certain color, and one time we're going to do something like
theme-wise.
Yeah, like a theme.
Okay.
And then the other third of the people would like to do something that is more skill-based, like lace or cables or intarsia.
Okay.
So what I was thinking is that we could do 2 theme-based and then 1 skill-based. That way everybody...
Every month?
No.
Oh.
Like, take turns.
Oh, okay.
So, like...
Oh, so it's split the same percentage-wise.
Right.
Okay, right.
So, like, for example, we're halfway through January. So I was thinking January and February, we could do finishing up our works in progress. Because, let's face it, we all have them. Do you have works in progress that need to get finished up?
8, 9, something like that.
12.
8 or 9, 100.
And I do too. I have things, I don't have a lot of things, but I have things that I would like to finish. I'd love to finish up my featherweight cardigan.
Okay, but can we add a caveat to that?
Yes, of course.
Finishing up a works in progress could also involve frogging something.
Yes.
All right, so if you've got a project that's been sitting around and really maybe you don't even want it anymore, then frogging it could qualify.
I think so.
Because it is eliminating a work in progress.
Yes. So here's what we want for you to do is we want for you, I'm going to create a post on the group, and I want for you to do 1 post for yourself, and then you're going to edit the post, and you are going to show us a picture. We need picture proof and link to your project. That way we can see, when you finished it. I don't know. Do we want to do that?
As opposed to?
Well, do you want to do like linking to the project, or do you want to actually have a picture in the thread?
I have to have the picture in the thread.
Okay, so we want a picture in the thread because we want to see, we want to admire what you're doing. Okay?
You know what? I mean, do we care if it's only 1 post per person? What if somebody finishes 3 things? Could they put 3 entries in?
If you'd like to. I guess we could do that. Sure.
Let's try it.
Okay. Great.
I mean, that makes people want to do a small project then.
Yeah, and then what if you frog 10 things?
Okay, so let's just do 1 entry per person.
We're working this out.
But you know what? Let's make our joy thread of ways that you add joy to your day or make things that you have to do. We talked about doing the joy thread. Let's make that a prize thread also.
Okay, great.
And we'll give away something for that.
Two things going on,
Come on.
with prizes right now. This is good. And I'll end that. We'll end both of these on February 28th.
Okay. No. That's too long, don't you think?
For the joy one?
Let's do the joy one shorter.
Okay. We'll end that on Valentine's Day.
That's a great idea. Yes.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right.
And we'll talk about what the prizes are.
Yes, we'll figure that out because we do have several prizes. We have lots of things. We have things from Turtle Maid. We have a skein of yarn and stitch markers from her.
Wow.
We have Wolf Farms. We have a cable needle and the soap.
No, I think I took back the soap.
Okay, we have a cable needle from Wolf Farms. We have from Whirlwind Ranch.
Sorry, I have to order more.
A skein of yarn and a bag of alpaca poop for you to use in your garden, which spring will be coming up soon.
That'll be a good spring one.
Yes, and we have a knitting bag by Stitched by Sasha.
We do?
Yes, we do.
I want that.
You can't have that. We're not allowed to win prizes.
How about this one? Was that one given away?
That one, yes.
Okay.
For our winner of our last thing, I was going to go to the post office today. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and so I can't go to the post office today.
It's not open.
Which is why my package is not arriving today from the Loopy U. But I'm being brave. I can wait until tomorrow.
So we're going to continue our theme of prizes because who doesn't like a prize?
Oh, and
yes,
one of our prizes is also so we had someone contact us who's a part of the group who is going to be donating $10 gift card, basically kind of like you can choose a pattern on Ravelry for $10 or under. You remember that?
How cool.
So not even someone who's like a maker of things other than like knitted things.
Just a sweet person like you
are. An awesome person. And so we want to say thank you.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
May I ask for one more thread?
Okay.
I haven't.
Yes.
I know I haven't passed any of this by you. But I think it would be so fun to get to know some of our viewers.
Okay.
Don't you think it would be fun?
Okay.
So I would like to have a thread opened for, would you, I don't know how to phrase it, would you like to either dance with Brianne, or would you be willing to answer a question? Okay? So now, nothing like super personal, but let's put it this way. We will accumulate a list of questions, of which we will only ask you like one.
Mm-hmm.
We will answer the question, and then we'll have you answer the question also. So, like for instance, okay, let's see, how did you begin knitting?
Okay.
All right, and so Brianne would answer it, I would answer it, and then we would fade to you, lucky person.
Oh, so like you would send us a video.
You would send us a video.
Okay.
Okay, to knitworthypodcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you just record it on your phone. It doesn't have to be anything, like amazingly, obviously the lighting's not an issue. Just, okay, and so we would just let you know what the topic is that we want to know, something about you. Okay. Or maybe it's going to be what your favorite dessert is. I don't know, whatever.
Yes.
And you send it to us, and then we will do it, and we'll get to know some of the people from our group.
And we get to see you.
Wouldn't you love to know what some of the people look like? Okay, and so here's the thing. Please don't be shy. Okay, we were all shy before when we started this, and then we decided, we'll just tell you everything now. We have no issues anymore. And so we'll start this thread for, I don't know, we'll come up with a cute name. Chit Chat with Brianne and Linda or something.
Yeah.
And what I want in there is posts from people who would be willing to podcast with us. Right?
Yes.
I think it'd be fun, huh?
Yes. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
All right. Well,
they're all cringing right now.
Oh, I hope not. Please don't cringe.
If we don't get at least one, it's going to be sad, isn't it? They don't want to talk to us.
It's okay. You won't hurt our feelings. Well,
it's been fun.
It has been.
It's been eventful.
It has been.
And is this better? What do you think?
I don't know.
This setup.
I don't know. We'll see.
Feedback. Give us feedback on the thread.
Always. We're always very willing to listen to feedback. So make sure that you give it to us nicely. Nicely, please. Thank you very much. Please and thank you. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this week. And we'll be back next week, hopefully. You never quite know how things are going to go.
Never quite know.
But we just want to say thank you for joining us. And
yes.
if this is your first time here, then we want to say thank you for finding us. If you are a repeat viewer, we want to say welcome back. We love you guys. And as always, remember that you are knitworthy. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
You turned my wailing into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. Psalm 30:11.
To my studio. Yay! My very first one. So excited. Okay, over here, starting here. Can you get this picture right here, Bree?
Mm-hmm.
This is a picture my daddy did when he was in school, high school art class, and I framed it. And on this wall, above and below, are going to be pictures that family members have drawn. So I'm so excited to have like my own little gallery wall right here with, we'll have like 3 pictures on it. This is a hutch that my mom had in a house that she had before this. And I have been using these anchor hocking jars to keep specialty fiber bits that will be part of spins that I do. So I have mohair and some color. This is silk and Angelina, different things like that. That way they don't get all dusty. And I'm still organizing the top here, but I have my little mannequin head that creeps my son out. But she holds my beret and she gets to wear a different hat depending on my mood. And down below I have these old wicker file baskets from when I was working from home. And now they store like cones of thread and different things that I use for spinning, and my sock collection right there. I have to do some laundry, so I still have more socks to go in there. But this is kind of a work in progress. I have my buttons stashed inside this. It's pretty fun. My mother of pearl antique buttons and plastic buttons. So when I need a project has a need for buttons, I can just pull it from there. And I have this old vintage, I think it's from the, what would it be? Not the 50s, probably the 40s vase that I keep the spare needles in. I love her. And then up here I have some baskets that I just got at Walmart for, I think it was like $4 or something. Knitting needles and crochet hooks, and I still have to organize those, so that's why things are popping out all over, but that's the idea. And then these are just some cubes that you put together for storage, and they come, I got mine from Amazon, and you can put them together in any configuration, and I have 3 sets of those, and they are color themed. So this is blacks and grays, and this is the brown section, and blue, and then it goes from there. And down below are other fiber add-ons and some skeins, some roving that needs to be spun up. So I'll be working on spinning up the things that are down here, and these are the ones that are finished that need to be made up into something. So that's my stash as it is. And this is my big wheel skein winder that I use when I'm doing the big skeins. And up here I've got my, I forgot the name of these. Help me.
Cards?
My hand cards, thank you. Funny. And my skein winder, which I put on a clipboard. This is a clipboard I got in junior high school. I still have it.
Here, let's get a close-up of that.
Yes.
Yes,
Here.
very important.
I wonder if I didn't write my name on it or anything. But it was $1.89 at the time. No, it was 89 cents maybe. I don't know. I think it's something with 89 cents. But I clip my skein winder on that so that I can wind like this. I just do this. Because I don't really have a good surface to clip it onto. I don't know if any of you had trouble with that, of finding a good surface to clip your skein winder to. They only open so, the jaws only open so far. And so that was my solution. I can just wind wherever I am now. Okay? And over here is where another craft that I'm trying to learn is doing rug hooking. So this is my rug hooking frame. And in here, this is where my beads, this is actually where my blending board is. I stash it there on top of a basket full of tools for doing my Rolex and things. And this is, these are containers I do for my jewelry making supplies. I ordered these from Amazon, and I believe it's Iris that makes these. And what I like about them is inside are individual cases that lock. And I think Amy Beth from Bat Squirrel was the one who pointed these out. They're made for actually storing photographs. She put her needles in them. I'm not sure if she decided she likes that or not, but I love them for putting beads in. So I mark the outside. So these are all my Ecru 6.0 beads. And I can use them, I can just pull that bin out and use them directly out of the bin. And so I'm in the process of getting more organized in that way. So when I need to put beads on a spinning project, or I'm making jewelry or something, I can be more organized about it. So I'm loving that. And then for $9.99 extra. No. Actually, these drawers have never been used until we got here. And they were just the right height because they were so thin. I could never figure out what to do with them. And now they're going to have my punches. I use these for when I'm doing gift tags or things like that. And stamps. This is an old vintage piece. So, and then this is like different stamping materials. And this is for, these are different forms for doing polymer clay and metal stamping. So just a little look into things I'm interested in, so I enjoy trying all those things. And the last but not least, out here in the hall are all the boxes that have to find a home in this already crowded studio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a lot of stuff. Who knows what I'm doing with it? I don't. Anyway, thanks for coming to my studio. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.